Welcome to the Instant Trivia Podcast episode 1530, where we ask the best trivia on the internet. Let's get started. How many gifts would you have if you received all the gifts from the song The 12 Days of Christmas? 364. Along with butterflies, what other insects are in the order Lepidoptera? Answer: moths and skippers. A skipper appears to be a mixed version of the moth and butterfly, but they are casually referred to as butterflies. The 2006 Mel Gibson movie Apocalypto concerns the demise of what ancient empire? The Mayan Empire. What was the number of Twitter's original character limit? 140. The Canadian city of Windsor is linked to what U.S. city by the Ambassador Bridge? Detroit. What Thomas Hardy novel takes its quiet title from Thomas Gray's Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard? Far from the Madding Crowd. What is the name of the base 20 numbering system? Vigesimal. Which character from The Simpsons tries to kill Bart Simpson on many occasions? Sideshow Bob. Where was the first UN Summit on the Environment, Air Pollution and Global Warming held in 1992? Answer: Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, UNCED, also known as the Earth Summit, was held from 3 to 14 June 1992. What strait connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman? Strait of Hormuz. Handel's Largo comes from which opera? Xerxes. The famous Nokia ringtone comes from which classical composer? Francisco Targa. Quite possibly the most recognizable ringtone of all time, his Grand Vals dates all the way back to 1902. Who was the Roman god of the sea? Neptune. What tart fruit has a sweet variety called Meyer? Lemon. Who was the first person to be awarded 2 Nobel Prizes? Marie Curie. Where is Apple Inc. headquartered? Cupertino, California. What U.S. territory includes the islands of St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas? U.S. Virgin Islands. What classic novel's subtitle is The Parish Boy's Progress? Oliver Twist. Which pioneer of modern nursing had a cat called Bismarck? Answer: Florence Nightingale. What did George Harrison's dentist do in April 1965 that changed the face of rock? Gave the Beatles LSD. In terms of weight, what country produces the most coffee? Brazil. Mount Hotham is located in which country? Australia. Who led the covert mission known as the Boston Tea Party? Samuel Adams. What color are many casinos decorated in to make patrons less aware of passing time? Red. Who directed the 1979 movie Apocalypse Now? Francis Ford Coppola. Which is the driest non-polar desert on Earth? Atacama Desert. In computer science, what does the acronym GIGO stand for? Garbage in, garbage out. What film has the quote, "What we've got here is failure to communicate"? Cool Hand Luke. How many scoops of raisins go into each box of Kellogg's Raisin Bran? 2. What year did the original Dungeons & Dragons box set by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson debut? 1974. In Greek mythology, who was the hunter who was torn apart by Artemis's dogs? Actaeon. In what year's Summer Olympics did gymnast Mary Lou Retton win the all-around gold medal? 1984. Which continent is home to the only egg-laying mammals in the world? Australia. What author created the character of Adam Dalgliesh? P.D. James. What country was the first to send an object to the moon? The Soviet Union. What song by Don McLean talks about the day Buddy Holly died? American Pie. Where are U.S. coins with a D mark minted? Denver. Which African country had its capital transferred to Abuja? Nigeria. Who does Eddie Murphy trade places with in the 1983 movie Trading Places? Dan Aykroyd. What sandwich bread takes its name from the Italian for carpet slipper? Ciabatta. As of 2020, which European country got about 3/4 of its electricity from nuclear power, the most of any country? France. It is considered bad luck to mention what Shakespeare play by name while inside a theater. Macbeth. Which show holds the record for being the longest-running American science fiction television program? Answer: Stargate SG-1 ran for 10 years, 1997 to 2007, and ended at a record for American science fiction, 214 episodes. What berries did pregnant women of the Middle Ages avoid for fear their children would be born with birthmarks? Strawberries. What was football legend Joe Namath's nickname? Broadway Joe. What city did the Solomons call home in the TV show Third Rock from the Sun? Rutherford, Ohio. What did little Jack Horner pull out of his Christmas pie? A plum. Who was the Roman goddess of hunting? Diana. What actress earned an Oscar nomination for the first screen appearance of Mary Poppins? Julie Andrews. Which country were the 1920 Olympic Games held in? Belgium. That's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for more exciting trivia.